So what's up, guys? Now the Yankees are on the road now, and their first road trip right now is in Tampa Bay. They play Tampa today. It was opening day for the Rays, so they got their American League Championship rings, and it was a fun ceremony for them. And they wound up beating up on the Yankees pretty good, 10-5. This is indicative. I mean, in my opinion, indicative of a lot of things. One, of Yankees starting slow, and another indication, in my opinion, of even though the Rays are minus Charlie Morton and Blake Snell, this could be a situation of addition by subtraction, because I'm not really seeing many indicators right now of a significant regression on their part. I mean, their hitters are still there. Even Rich Hill, one of their new starters, not a sexy signing, but he was very effective today, aside from the one bad inning he had. He lasted 6. Corey Kluber only lasted 2 1/3. They look good today. The Yankees were not. The Yankees were uninspiring. Now, Aaron Hicks did get on the board with a home run today to make not make up for it, but at least dampen a little bit less the cloud of a horrifically slow start. But aside from that, it wasn't much to be impressed on the Yankees side. I mean, Hicks again, he homered in the third. Giancarlo Stanton got an RBI single. And, he seems to be playing well, seems to be hitting well, but for the most part, the bats were silent. They were just uninspiring again. DJ LeMahieu did hit a home run in the 8th inning, so it's his first home run of the season as well. He's just as consistent as it gets, but a lot of the other bats were quiet. Clint Frazier had a rough day, and a lot of the rest of the lineup had a rough day. And Gary Sanchez, it is what it is. But again, this is the Tampa Bay Rays, and they still have, in my opinion, they have the Yankees number right now. So that needs to obviously change. I mean, on the pitching standpoint, Kluber went 2 1/3, gave up five hits, 3 earned runs, had 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and didn't give up any home runs. But his pitch count was up there, and he didn't have it today. And again, he's working his way back from a long layoff, so that's something to keep in mind. Nick Nelson came in. He had the roughest day of them all through 1 2/3, but he gave up 4 earned runs. Had 3 strikeouts and stuff, but worked his way out of a jam. But at the same time, he got himself into some jams too, even though he came in with the bases loaded. Lucas Licky came in, gave up a run, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, which is he got himself out of a jam as well. He was relatively efficient. And then Luis Sessa came in and threw an inning, scoreless inning, with a strikeout and stuff. But this is one reason, we're only 7 games in. The Yankees are 3 and 4, but Sessa, Licky, Nelson have been used multiple times. This is one reason I've said, guys like Ulis Chacin, who I thought they should have kept around even in the minors, and let him build up his pitch count. But a guy like him, who has been developed as a starter, had a career as a starter, can come in and throw 4, 5, even 6 innings instead of having to use these guys, because at some point they're going to have to kind of recycle guys and use options, call guys down, call guys up, because certain guys are tired. And that's why the more guys you have, in my opinion, again, that can be long relievers or throw multiple innings, are a good thing. Can't use Chad Green all the time. Okay, when Clark Schmidt comes back, I think he'll be a good candidate as well. But we don't want to overuse guys like Licky and Sessa. I know we have Johnny Loizaga as well, but to me, Ulis Chacin would have been a perfect fit. And I know the Yankees just brought in Mike Montgomery, so he can probably serve. And I know he's in the system. He's in the farm now in the minors. He can build his way up as well and be one of those guys. And I hope that he is, to give the relievers a break. Justin Wilson is back, but that said, these are the situations, and I personally keep an eye on these, and I hate to see guys used way too much because the starters don't last. And that's the other thing we need to work on. We've got to build up these starters' innings, get them to the point where they're all throwing 6 innings consistently, or for the most part. And instead of 2 1/3, you're expecting the bullpen to pick up 6 2/3 innings, or 5 2/3 innings. That's substantial. That is substantial. In all honesty, it should be the other way around, where the starter throwing 5 2/3 and the bullpen picking up 2 1/3, or something like that. But this happens to the Yankees often. I know, again, having a little bit of flexibility with Kluber and Taillon and some of these other guys, Herman, all 3 of them are coming back from long layoffs. Cole's been remarkably consistent. I think he'll continue to be that way. Montgomery's pitching well, so I hope that he'll continue to kind of just go out there and throw 6 innings consistently or something and put them in a position to win. These other guys are the ones that, to me, are indicative of needing guys like Chacin and Montgomery. Because if they have a game like this, then those guys can come in and throw 4 innings. That way they may only have to use Sessa instead of 3 guys, or that guy can go all the way and not having to use 3 more relievers. So pitching depth, in my opinion, is still a concern. And again, it's still early. We're only 7 games into the season, but the last thing we want to have is this becoming a consistent pattern, particularly when you face guys like the Rays, where their lineup is just relentless. They're going to work counts. They're going to beat up your pitchers and make them throw. And they know these guys are coming back, so they're going to make them throw 70 pitches in 3 innings. So knowing they're not going to last much longer. And the Yankees do have a potentially elite bullpen, particularly when Zach Britton comes back. I get that too. But this is an area where it's important to have guys like that, particularly when the bats are not doing. Now, again, I hope the Yankees come back and have a better game tomorrow. But again, this is Tampa. We're playing in Tampa. And they're a surprisingly good, still very good team. I didn't expect them to be, after losing those pitchers, I didn't expect them to be in the gutter this year. But there's a chance that they can compete for the division like Toronto, like the Yankees. That division is definitely not a gimme for the Yankees, even though on paper their team looks superior. But paper is one thing, performance is another. So, that's my 2 cents and the kind of summary of the game today. Again, it's early. I'd like to see where they are 50 games into the season and then 100 games into the season, or right around the deadline, the trade deadline, to see what needs to happen and what they might need to do. But we'll see. They run, Rougned Odor as well, so I'm sure he's going to come up soon and give the infield a little bit of break because, Gleyber Torres is still having defensive struggles. Although he's been consistent at the plate, and I want to keep one thing in perspective, and I encourage other folks to do the same. Derek Jeter had the same troubles his first couple of years defensively as a shortstop. So now I'm not saying Gleyber Torres is the next Derek Jeter. That's way too early to predict. Derek Jeter is a first ballot Hall of Famer, so that's kind of a bold presumption, but at the same time, I think it's important to be patient with him as well. His bat is obviously solid, major league level, and he's proven that over the years. But I think it's important to be patient with him. And again, if need be, can DJ move over to third? I don't know. Because I don't know that he has the same range laterally that Gio Urshela has. Gio Urshela could probably cover a shortstop and move Torres to second. But the question is, can DJ cover third? If that's the maneuverability that you need to go. Because I know there's a lot of talk with Trevor Story, but keep in mind, too, Gleyber Torres has either 4 or 5 years of cheap team control. Trevor Story is going to cost $200 million. And then they're going to either have to trade one of Torres or Urshela or Voit to make this happen. If they trade Voit, they move DJ to first, right? Now, if they trade Urshela, what do? So it's... as sexy as a signing of Trevor Story would be, I would be investing money in pitching next year. That's what I would do. Odor gives him some versatility and some protection. Yeah, Tommy La Stella would have done the same thing, but the Giants were brilliant enough to bring him in. And that's the reality right now. So I wouldn't be jumping off the roof yet with Gleyber Torres. I wouldn't be throwing him to the wolves. I wouldn't be doing that. I'd still be patient with him. He's only 24 years old. But at the same time, I think Rougned Odor is probably going to wind up being a valuable add. Even though Tyler Wade's really good with the glove, Odor has a superior bat. And I know some people think he stinks and whatnot, but his stats say otherwise. He needed to change his scenery from Texas. So, and, just like Voit did from St. Louis, or Urshela did, and these other guys. I mean, it's just they got better when they came to the Yankees. So. And I think the same can happen to Odor. And I think he's just in a better environment now. So I would keep a lookout for that. But I'm happy that they brought Mike Montgomery in. I don't know what he's going to be, what kind of depth he's going to provide, but he could at the very least be a part of a Rich Hill. I'd be happy. I still think it would be a good idea for them to bring back Chacin and have both of those guys stored in AAA just in case, because Clark Schmidt is still down. And some other guys, Michael King, I know he's there, but I don't also want to rely on him. He's one of the younger prospects, and he pitched really well the last game. But those other guys have a lot more experience. Would I love to have all 3? Yeah, absolutely. Because, and again, this happens with the Yankees almost every year. 2 or 3 starters always go down. It's just, I don't know why it happens, but it does. And having guys like that you can call up would be a um, valuable security, so that you're not having to put undue pressure on Herman or Severino when he comes back, expecting him to go out and throw 7 dominant innings. Not a good idea. So, but then again, that's my 2 cents. So, um, I'll do the recap after tomorrow's game as well. I have a couple other videos I'm going to be making over in the next week or so too. So if you want to see them, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification next to it so that you know exactly when the videos come out. I know this one's a little late after the game, but I have 2 daughters, so I had to do some things with them as well. And that comes first. So, but I hope you enjoyed this, and hit the thumbs up if you did. Please share this channel with other friends that are baseball fans. I think they'll enjoy it. And thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.